Hi guys, I have another Copic coloring and card tutorial for you today. It's still the Then and Now series. This is the card from 2 years ago that I colored with Gothilia. I really liked that card, but I wanted to try to make her more ethereal and to give her more depth or roundness. And also one of the things that is a new thing I'm playing around with, that is actually toning up the grays. So I'm using the grays as my shadowing base, and in this case it's W4, W2 and W0 that I'm using to kind of base up the shadows to give her the roundness I want to in her face. And when I have finished playing around with the shadows, I am covering the whole shadowing part with the BG70s. The BG70s have very big steps from the lightest pen to the next lightest pen, and therefore I didn't feel that I wanted to use that as my shadow base. Instead, I used the grey and then just gave it a tone of BG70. The other thing I'm doing here is actually using the tip-to-tip method to work with her hair. So I'm not working the strands in the hair, I'm just making all of those little curls kind of look like they are bendy. If I used the BG72 directly on the paper, it would have been very dark and it would have been very hard to blend out with the BG70. This is a known fact, those pens are very hard to blend, and there's a lot of people that actually makes their own BG71 by mixing the 72 and the 70 in a empty pen, because you can buy the pens empty. But you can also use the tip-to-tip method as I did here. Again, here on her dress I actually gonna do the toning up the grays, but I do put in my shadows first with the E40 that I'm going to use to then tone the grays. And then I'm just shadowing all the parts, trying to make it look a little bit more like folds and creases over all her dress with my W's. And to finish it off, I'm just adding the E40 on top, and try to get the tonal should be close to the mid color. If you have a too light or too dark pen, too dark will totally remove all of your shadowing, and the lighter actually might give you some strange texture, because the more alcohol you have in the pen, the lighter it is, the more alcohol you have in your pen, and the more alcohol, the more it will push at the pigments. So you can actually use it to get cool textures, but for this specific project I just wanted to give that tonal effect of a little bit of a bluer skin and a little bit of a browner clothing. Then I'm using the same papers as I have done the other 2 days, which is Authentic's paper pad Moonlit. I'm using this little corner because I thought it was an awesome little scene that I could use. I'm doing the same sizes as I have done the rest of the week, which is a 3¼ by 4¼ card base, and then stepping it down 1/8 of an inch per layer. You can do scenes like that with a lot of the Digistamp that Make It Crafty have, but I thought it would go faster and be easier to just use this paper pad. Then I'm using my little powder tool because I'm gonna heat emboss this Goals Night Out by Lawn Fawn. I'm using some Versamark ink. It's see-through and it's very, very sticky. You can use it as a watermark, or you can use it as the base for your embossing. And I'm embossing this with the Ranger embossing powder Liquid Platinum because I think it's very good tone to tone with the rest of the features in the card. I'm going to make a layered flag to put on the card. This sentiment is actually a little bit wider than the card base, and this is why I chose to make the flag instead of just adding it to the card, but I thought it was such a cute little sentiment that I just needed to use it. This is my tip for doing flag ends. It's to cut it in the middle and then cut the tips into that slit you cut in the middle. When you want to layer it, I have another tip, and that tip is, first of all, when you cut it off, don't cut it too close. Then you'd cut your slit, but instead of trying to do a tip to middle of the slit, try to have your scissors parallel with the previous flag and get the flag ends that way, because that makes a very nice little flag totally. Then I'm just layering everything with my Crafter's Companion tape runner. I really love that tape runner because it sticks things down very good, and it's actually quite cheap. They're not refillable, but just because they are that cheap, you don't need refills. I'm looking to see how I want to put my little sentiment. I actually decided to have it centered onto the card base, just because it's so much bigger than the card base. You see, you don't have to just have it contained into the card. I'm using some 3M foam tape to add both the sentiment and the character onto the card base. And that was the card for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions, just comment down below. And here are the other two videos. There's also a little annotated card if you are on mobile, if you want to see the playlist of all of the Then and Now Halloween cards. Bye!